Hi everybody, it's Lisa Wright. I want to talk to you about my job at Target. I did a video not too long ago when I first started my channel, and I talked about how I got my job at Target through Indeed and about how I work there part-time, which in fact I do, and how much I enjoy it. And I really do enjoy it. However, working in retail for a large company like Target is a little bit of a stressful job, because there's a lot of performance measurements that go on in these businesses, these big conglomerate styled businesses. I had no idea. If you know anything about working in retail, especially a large company, you get these things called metrics. And your metrics measures your performance, and there's metric standards to every position in these companies. Now, I work in fulfillment. So one of my metrics is to make sure that I'm pulling and packing 70 units per hour to fulfill orders for the day. And this has to be done consistently. And oftentimes, when people call out sick or when they don't schedule enough people, individuals like myself who are in that department have to push a little bit harder to fulfill the metrics for the day. And it can be a little stressful, you know. Fulfillment is a very important position for Target and for most of the stores that you experience in retail like Walmart, because I would say about 30 to 40% of their business is pickup orders and ship from store orders. So basically, when you guys place an order online, you want to pick up your order that day, or you have actually 3 days to pick up your order. And your metrics are, you have two things that you need to measure up. First, you got to get the order done in a timely manner, and you have to get the metrics done as well, which means you're pushing hard. When I start in the morning, they want you to dive into an order right away, and they want you to start picking at that 70 unit per hour mark, if not that more. And you have this little device in your hand called a Zebra. And the Zebra tells you whether or not you're on pace as a team or as a department. And it's done throughout the entire store. So there's different departments, and each department has their metrics, and they have their time slots in which to perform their specific duties. And everything is measured by this little handheld device, because you're scanning every unit that you handle, and it's timed. I come home at the end of the day, and I sometimes feel like I ran a marathon, or I I hiked a mountain, you know. So imagine exercising nonstop for 7 hours. You do get 2 breaks, and you do get if you're working a full shift, they give you two 15-minute breaks and a 45-minute lunch. But if you're working a 4 hour or 4.5 hour shift, you get one 15-minute break, which isn't too bad. The stamina for a 4 hour shift is really not that bad. It's something that I can handle. But when it comes to working a 7 hour or maybe sometimes even an 8 hour, the stamina for that shift really brings your energy level down. I drink a lot of water. I also have to make sure I get a good night's sleep the night before, and you have to wear proper clothing. I wear very sturdy, expensive shoes on my job, very well cushioned socks, and breathable fabrics when I'm working. And I'll tell you, I sweat hard at that job. Ooh, you work up a sweat there. And I notice that when I work a 4 hour shift, I come home, and I have the stamina to continue creating content. But when I come home after a 7 or 6 hour shift, I lose my stamina, and my body just wants to collapse and go to sleep. That ruins my entire day, and I have to really avoid doing that. And I think that goes on for pretty much a lot of people too. You know, when you come home, you don't want to sit down. You want to keep going because you know you have things you need to take care of. So that's basically working at Target. Um, do I like it? Yes, I do. I'm the oldest in the department. I think the person in that department who is in fulfillment, he is probably about in his mid 50s, I would say. And he works really hard too. He really works hard. And he has a lot of experience in retail. So I like talking to him. It's a lot of fun. But most of the people there are early 40s and early 30s and in their 20s. And some of these kids that come in, it's their first time job. And they're working for fulfillment, Target fulfillment. And I'm training them. You know, so it's really a lot of fun. But I wanted just to share this with you, like what working for Target be like, because I never thought that I would ever work retail. I really went into it as, well, it's just a part-time job and I'm just going to do this, you know, just to pay the bills, which in fact it does. But working in fulfillment and working with such a young crew has truly given me a great deal of insightfulness in understanding and appreciating the next generation. I work with millennials, I work with Gen Xers like myself, and Generation Y, young kids. And I tell you something, they are fascinating to talk to. And a lot of them are, especially when they're young, are very shy. But many of them really are insightful and they get and understand what's going on in the world. And I just love talking to them. They're very well informed. And don't ever doubt them. Make this very clear. These young kids understand the world. And I know that sometimes we take them for granted. But I want to just share with you that I completely and admire many of them and know that they are going to make this world a better place. So I just wanted to leave that little tidbit with you today. You know, I wake up every morning and I ask myself, God, how can I serve you today? What message would you like for me to share? And it's funny that I share my Target story and how we progressed into something that was very thoughtful and insightful. So I want to thank you for joining me today. The sirens are going off in this fabulous city of Long Beach, and we're going to leave it at that. So you guys have a great day. Take care.